Joining me now, Governor Christie, the head of Donald Trump's White House transition team. Governor, I want to start with the breaking news about the explosions in New Jersey and New York yesterday. What's the latest on the investigation, and do you believe, have any reason to believe, that the explosion in your state was an act of terror targeting that Marine charity race?
Well, Chris, first off, as far as New Jersey is concerned, fortunately there was no one injured. The race had not yet started when the bomb exploded, and so we're very, very grateful for that. The FBI is leading the investigation here in New Jersey in coordination with the New Jersey State Police and our Office of Homeland Security. We have some very promising leads, but we have no one in custody at this time. And as far as terrorism concerns, Chris, it is clearly an act of terrorism. Now, we just don't know who's responsible for it. Is it a domestic source, a foreign source? We don't know that at this time. But it was done intentionally to try to terrorize the people of New Jersey. And so that we know, but we need to know who's responsible now and get them into custody.
I want to turn to politics, and I want to begin with Donald Trump's comment that I just talked about with Senator Kaine, where Trump suggested that the Secret Service detail around Hillary Clinton should disarm, and, quote, let's see what happens. You just heard Senator Kaine say Trump was inciting an act of violence against Hillary Clinton. Your reaction, sir?
Man, I'll tell you something, boy, when the race gets tight, even a guy like Tim Kaine gets desperate. I mean, to imply, and if I can imply, he said that was to incite violence is outrageous, and he owes Donald Trump an apology. Donald Trump was trying to make a point about Hillary Clinton wanting to have one set of rules for herself and a different set of rules for the American people. And that's what his point is on the Second Amendment. But Senator Kaine should be ashamed of himself for saying that Donald Trump would like to have violence perpetrated against Hillary Clinton. It's an outrageous statement, but just shows how desperate and scared the Clinton-Kaine campaign is now, because this race is now a dead heat, and they can't believe it. And they're going to get even worse news as we move forward here, because Donald's going to continue to do even better. Do
you think it's responsible, though, sir? I mean, the fact is you have a security detail. Obviously, Hillary Clinton has a security detail. You're not average citizens. So to suggest that you might want gun control for the larger population, but that doesn't necessarily apply to a public figure like yourself, is that really hypocrisy?
No, what it is, the hypocrisy, is on Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine's part. They want to remove Second Amendment rights from American people. We've seen that over and over again. And so I think what Donald was trying to do was make a point that, you know, she wants one set of rules for herself and a different set of rules for everybody else. I think all the American people should have a right to reasonably protect themselves. And in most states in this country, that's what exists. Mrs. Clinton wants to change that in a very significant way. I think it's an important debate and discussion for the country to have. But for Senator Kaine to go as overboard as he did this morning, breathlessly accusing Donald Trump of inciting violence against Hillary Clinton, it's outrageous, it's beneath him, and he should take a deep breath, get used to the fact that this is going to be a very close race, and stop all the craziness.
All right, let's talk about another issue. Trump also tried this week to end the birther controversy after earlier in the week refusing to say that he now believes that Barack Obama was born in the U.S. Now, last September, when you were running against Trump, you tore into him for keeping this issue alive. Let's look at what you said then.
I'd say now the president's a Christian, and he was born in this country. I mean, I think those two things are self-evident. Donald Trump's got to decide, as we've seen, I've said this all along, he's got to decide how serious a candidate he wants to be, and how he handles different problems like this are going to determine that in the eyes of the American people.
So, how serious a candidate is Donald Trump when he is still talking about the birther issue less than 2 months before the election?
Very serious, because he said very clearly and unequivocally this week that Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. And so the controversy is over. I made my position really clear, Chris, on this, both in the campaign and before that, actually. That was my belief. And Donald's made it very clear now that it's his belief as well. And if you think, Chris, that anyone in the United States is going to go into the voting booth and either vote for or against Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton based on this issue, that people who think that are completely out of touch with the problem with the economy and jobs in this country, with the problem of terrorist threats around the world and here at home. Those are the issues that are going to decide this race, and not something like this.
Well, I mean, respectfully, Governor, voters decide what is going to decide the race, and as you may know, a lot of people are upset at the idea. They would say that Trump was trying to delegitimize the first African-American president, so that's an issue for them. I want to ask you about another issue in that, because Trump didn't end the controversy. He continued to say that Hillary Clinton started the birther controversy. Question: do you have any evidence that either Hillary Clinton or any member of her campaign in 2008 ever publicly questioned Barack Obama's birthplace?
Well, just look at the comments of Patty Solis Doyle that she made, Chris. And the fact is that we know that there's lots of things that go on.
If you're going to go there, what she said was that some volunteer in Iowa raised the question and was immediately fired. So that hardly seems like they were pushing the birther issue.
Chris, you know, the fact of the matter is that that's what happened during the Clinton campaign in 2008. If they appropriately fired the person, good for them. But nonetheless, the issue was raised by the Clinton campaign. And listen, the fact is this, Chris, you and I both know that there's lots of things that go on privately and quietly in campaigns and whisper campaigns. There are people whispering in your ear all the time, trying to get you to report things that they're unwilling yet to say publicly. And if you look back at that 2008 race rather, between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, it was an incredibly bitter, angry race on both sides, where a lot of things were said, both publicly and privately, off the record and on background to members of the media, that probably both would like to take back at this point.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump put this issue away on Friday, and you say voters decide. Chris, I've run in 2 elections statewide here in New Jersey, and I ran the Republican primary for president. And I'm telling you, it's my opinion that there is no one in this country who is today undecided about this race who will make their decision in the next month and a half based upon this issue. They're going to make those decisions based on jobs and the economy, the threats of terrorism around the world and at home. These are the things they're going to make their decisions on, not on this issue. I know you guys all love it, but you know, it's just not going to be one where undecided voters are going to make their decision, in my opinion and my experience, based on this.
Governor Christie, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you. Thanks for your time today, sir.
Chris, always great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Please come back.